Welcome back to this week's mini episode of the Bookly Podcast. This week's episode is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. And for this week's episode, I thought it would be fun to do a how it should have ended based on what I thought this book was originally about. Now, I want to say right off the bat that I really enjoyed this book. Overall, I want to say that I gave this book a 3.5 out of 5, which is pretty good. Science fiction usually isn't my go-to book choice, but I did really enjoy this book. So drop me a comment with your favorite science fiction books. I'm going to try to add a few more to my reading list, and let me know what books you would recommend for the Bookly Podcast, specifically in the science fiction genre. I'm interested in maybe reading a couple more. Please do not recommend Dune. I hated that book with every fiber of my being, and I have no idea how people enjoyed that book. The movie was phenomenal. The book was terrible. So let me know what science fiction books you'd like to see on the podcast other than Dune, because I'm open to reading some more books. Let me know what you think. But going into this book, I thought that the premise was completely different. Now I want to read the back of the book description of this book because that kind of plays into the how it should have ended portion of this video. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read that. Jason Dessen is walking home through the chilly Chicago streets one night, looking forward to a quiet evening in front of the fireplace with his wife Daniela and their son Charlie, when his reality shatters. Are you happy with your life? Those are the last words Jason Dessen hears before a masked abductor knocks him unconscious. Before he awakens to find himself strapped to a gurney surrounded by strangers in hazmat suits, before a man Jason's never met smiles down at him and says, "Welcome back, my friend." In this world he's woken up to, Jason's life is not the one he knows. His wife is not his wife. His son is never born. And Jason is not an ordinary college physics professor, but a celebrated genius who has achieved something remarkable, something impossible. Is it this world or the other that's the dream? And even if the home he remembers is real, how can Jason possibly make it back to the family he loves? The answers lie in a journey more wondrous and horrifying than anything he could have imagined, one that will force him to confront the darkest parts of himself, even as he battles a terrifying, seemingly unbeatable foe. So going into this book, that was all the information that I had. I knew nothing about the story of this book, and this is how I think the book should have ended based on where I thought it was going. So as Jason wakes up, he is told that everything in his life was a dream. And the masked man that confronts Jason right before he wakes up is a new scientific way of taking people in and out of a super dream state in which individuals can experience an almost reality-like experience while dreaming. So technology has come to this point where you can be put to sleep and experience entire lifetimes while dreaming. And then there's an extraction process in which you are taken in and out of these dreams. And there's a new drug on the market that they're testing that's trying to get approved in order to give people the opportunity to escape real life and live in a dream life. So Jason, being early on in this study of science, is trying to grapple with the fact that he thinks that his other life is the real life and that this life that he's currently living is the dream life. And in the book, as the reader, you are also trying to figure out whether or not he is currently in the dream life or if the other life was the real life, because there's an argument to be made that the individual who drugs him induces him into a dream state in which he cannot escape currently. And so he feels like he is trapped inside of his dream in this prison world that is now a dream, and his real life is the original life that he had with his son and with his wife. But the dream is trying to convince him that this is the real world and that the man who drugged him was the method of pulling him out of that fictitious dream world that he had been living in for the past 30 years. And the book is a mystery trying to discover which reality is the true reality, or is reality all in your mind? And both the dream and real life can both coexist as Jason Dessen's reality because of the way that he experienced them. And so the idea behind this book is to create infinite numbers of realities within one lifetime and make the argument that they are all equally valid and equally viable as a true reality because of the way in which Jason experiences while he's in a dream. That is my how it should have ended. If you'd like to know how it actually ended, make sure that you read Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, or at least watch the show. The show comes out May 8th, I believe, on Apple TV+. It's got a pretty good cast. I'm excited for it. I will definitely be checking it out. But if you are interested in my thoughts on this book and interested in knowing what I thought of the actual plot of this book, make sure to check out this episode of the podcast and make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe to this channel so that you never miss an episode of the podcast. If you're interested in Blake Crouch maybe writing my version of the book, tag him in this video, see if we can get him to watch it, and maybe we can give him an idea for his next book.